Welcome back to FoxxTV, Healing and Wisdom Podcast. I am your host, Andrea Fox, and Rick the Plant is right here with me, quiet but still growing. This is just a space where we slow down, we think a little, and talk through real life. And we do that together. You know, I have been sitting with something lately. It's one of those thoughts that doesn't come all at once. It just shows up in small moments and kind of stays with you. And for me, it's been this idea of forgiving yourself, forgiving myself. It is not just saying it, but actually feeling like you've done it. I may say that I'm healing, but I don't really feel it always. Because it is interesting. You can be in a completely different place in your life, doing better, thinking differently, showing up differently, and still have moments where something from your past comes back to your mind. Not in no dramatic way, but it just eases right on in, just quietly. It could be a decision you made, a way that you handled something, wishing you could have done it differently. For a second, it just sits with you. It just sits there and you just think about it over and over. So that is where I have been lately. I've had those moments where I catch myself thinking, why did I do that? Or I should have known better. And with me, I was especially like being around, and maybe I may have said something. Maybe you shouldn't have said that, Andrea. But then I had to stop and really think about that, because if someone else told me the same story, I wouldn't respond to them that way. You shouldn't have done that, or you shouldn't have said that. What I would probably say is, you were doing the best you could at the time. So that is what I would tell someone else. But on myself, I'd be a little harder. And that is with everyone. When it comes to ourselves, we don't always give that same understanding. So I had to ask myself, why is it easier for me to extend grace to other people, but harder to fully release myself? I think part of it is because we ourselves remember everything. We remember how we felt. We remember what we were thinking. And sometimes we look back at who we were with the mindset we have now. But the truth is, you didn't have this version of you back then. You didn't have this awareness. You didn't even have this growth. And that realization changed something for me, because it made me see that growth isn't just about becoming someone new. It is also about allowing yourself to leave the old version of you where it belongs. So leave that back in the past, because you can grow and still carry guilt. You can move forward and still quietly hold something against yourself. You can. And you know what? That will show up in ways you don't always notice. Sometimes it'll show up and you don't even notice it. You hesitate more. You question question yourself more. You don't fully step into who you are now. So I've had to catch myself in those moments and ask, what am I still holding on to? What? And the biggest question, why? Why am I still holding on? But I try not to do it in a harsh way. Just being honest. Because sometimes it's not even about what happened anymore. It's about how you see yourself because of it. And once I started seeing that, I realized something else. Something else came to my mind. If I keep holding on to that version of me, I'm not really giving this version of me a fair chance. So we have to let go, release, and let go. At some point, you have to let yourself be. Let yourself be who you are now, not who you were, not who you've already learned from. And you know what? That doesn't mean you ignore your past. It just means you don't live there anymore. You don't live there anymore. For me, the shift really came when I stopped asking, why did I do that? And I started asking, what did that teach me? So if I said anything wrong to hurt anyone's feelings, I learned from that. It could be the response I got back, or someone really said, you hurt my feelings. So I learned a lot. So when you're asking yourself, what did it teach you? It taught me to be careful when choosing words, because that question moves you forward. It takes you out of judgment and into understanding. And understanding brings a different kind of peace. So I'm not saying those thoughts never come back, because to be honest, they do. But now I don't stay there the same way. As I said before, I let go. Release and let go. I remind myself that version of you, Andrea, is what got you here. And that matters. So if you have been dealing with that, if you've had moments where your past kind of tapped you on the shoulder, just give yourself just a little more grace. You don't have to carry everything forever. You don't have to keep reminding yourself of who you used to be. You're allowed to move forward fully. And maybe that's what forgiving yourself really looks like. Acknowledging the past, release, and moving forward. Not forgetting, not pretending, but just not holding it against yourself anymore. So that is our topic for today. But I do want to thank you for sitting with me. If this connected with you, just carry it with you gently. And I'll meet you here again the next time.